Gegner von S.Taylor stand schon in einem Major-Finale. Ist die aktuelle 14 der Welt, hat schon 3 PDC-Titel eingefahren. Unter anderem gab es auch einen Erfolg auf der European Tour im vergangenen Jahr 2018 in Graz. Aus Wales, the Ferret, J.Clayton.
Well, there's routine stuff for Dave Chisnell in the first match of this Saturday afternoon session here in Mannheim. A 6-2 success for him against Ryan Meikle, as a seeded player came through without any trouble at all. J.Clayton, seeded player who has run into trouble at times on the European Tour. Often though, if he does pass his first match, he can go on to be a title contender, a winner of course on the Euro Tour before, a winner on the Pro Tour this season, up against S.Taylor, who edged past Matthew Edgar in the first round. 6-5 yesterday for the man from Bolton. He goes up against a Ferret, and Paul Nicholson joins me in the commentary box for the first time this afternoon.
Afternoon, Murph, and afternoon everybody else who is tuning in. Very good choice, I might add. This is a very big game for J.Clayton. He is seeded 15th this weekend, and it's pretty simple. If he doesn't win this game, looks like he's going to have to qualify for Gibraltar, the final European Tour of the year. He hasn't been to the qualifiers since before he won in Austria last year.
Like Johnny to throw first. Game on.
Maybe it's a good sign that he's got a Welsh referee. Of course, Johnny, fiercely proud to be Welsh. From a beautiful western county of Pembrokeshire.
140.
That is correct, isn't it?
I believe
Before
so,
I get
yes.
lots of tweets saying he's not from Pembrokeshire.
Pontyberem, isn't it?
Yeah, he used to play for Pembrokeshire.
43.
As did a wonderful lady by the name of Julie Gore. Great dart player from Wales who represented that fine country many, many times, and a former world master.
I've had plenty of
100.
fantastic dart players from Wales. Of course, the first ever world champion, Leighton Rees. Richie Burnett. Mark Webster, a world champion
41.
as well. There's plenty of world champions from Wales. J.Clayton, can he ever add himself to that list? I
Hey,
suppose
why not?
Gerwyn Price is the main contender to do so right now.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
135.
Don't forget about Martin Phillips, captain of Wales for many years. Got that wonderful World Masters under his belt. And always played well at the Grand Slam.
Johnny, you require
Price, the current Grand Slam champion,
126.
number 3 seed in action this afternoon against Simon Stevenson. J.Clayton looking to spark into action here by landing double 6.
120.
Sometimes it's not a good sign for Johnny if he starts missing doubles early. I've noticed that pattern over the course of the last 12 months. He gets a
43.
confidence boosting
Johnny requires 6.
early clinical double in. It usually helps. This does not, but he loves double 1. See, favourite double. That's all you got to do. Leave double 1, Johnny. No bother.
You're suggesting that was all part of a master plan.
Absolutely. Stick by it.
140.
They just look in the mood, J.Clayton. That is a fantastic start. Threatened the big combination checkout and then cleaned up the remainder when he returned.
Love how the guy that was just on our screen there, who was dressed as a cow,
100.
was flaunting his 180 sign, but he didn't write anything on it. Didn't read the rules.
May have been invisible ink.
100.
Oh, don't tell Peter Wright that. If you start telling him about invisible ink and things like that, he'll start doing some crazy stuff. But J.Clayton has started steadily, and there's no problem with the scoring right now. Got a real dip in that 60.
I think he's just increased the description from starting steadily to starting very, very well indeed.
Johnny knows what goes on in the world of darts. He knows that Scott was playing really well last week when he was at the World Trophy, and he probably knows that Scott almost got away with one yesterday against Matthew Edgar. It was one of those performances that he did well to win, but he knows he didn't play well.
90. Scott, you require 167.
Well, he knows that Scott is a player that will give him a fight, because they've met 5 times before
41.
this
Johnny, you require
matchup,
131.
and Clayton narrowly edges the head-to-head stats, 3 wins to 2.
Johnny looking for something very similar to what Robert Thornton did
57.
yesterday in
Scott,
nearly
you require
beating Kim Hybrex. He had the
126.
54, then the 2 tops. Johnny looking for the 51 and the 2 tops. Only able to just negotiate a score south of 100.
106.
Or does he look
Johnny,
for the
you require
54 here,
94.
and if he misses, does he go double-double, or is it a bullseye route? Went for the 54. And went for it again, but failed to find it with either of the
38.
first 2 darts.
Scott, you require 20.
Should be 1-1.
And
it is 1-1.
Second leg, Scott Taylor. Third leg, Johnny to the
So he's been the better player so
on.
far, but just a tiny bit scrappy on a couple of occasions. And if you see that in these kinds of matches, it's usually early. Early nerves, early
100.
expectation from yourself, and you do have the odd miss. If you can tighten up those shots, more often than not, you will get the victory.
Well, I think Johnny Clayton's a fantastic player. I think the
96.
2 key criticisms of his game are 1 is counting, and 2 is decision-making.
They go hand in hand, really, sometimes. There's no doubting his
140.
natural ability.
Just an example of it, I know he ended up winning the leg, but the 1-2-6 in the first leg didn't have to go the treble 19 route. His opponent wasn't going to finish at the time.
55.
Last week he was playing on Saturday afternoon, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but there were a couple of counting errors that he made, and there weren't so much errors, but it was more along the lines of
60.
what choice he made, and they were baffling. Just made you think that, you know, back to when James Wade was 2006, 2007 James Wade, as amazing as he was a horrendous counter, and James had to do some real work on the mathematical side of the game, and consequently James Wade is very solid in that department now.
177.
Nothing wrong with the counting there, and certainly nothing wrong with the execution.
Remember the time when James Wade had 58 left? He hit a single 18 and asked the referee what he had left.
Johnny, you
Never
require
forget that,
24.
as long as I live. Double 12 for Johnny Clayton then. Got to go high to the right. Or just sneak it underneath like that.
Like Scott to throw first.
2 good legs from Johnny Clayton, 15 and 14.
Yeah, he's got to be reasonably pleased with his afternoon's work so far. Often when Johnny Clayton is averaging around 100, he tends to stay there.
60.
Problem is when he's averaging around 80, he tends to stay there as well.
One thing I think we should touch on early on Saturday afternoon here in Mannheim is the practice facilities. They have to
140.
walk quite a long way from the practice facilities to come backstage here. But the best thing about them, because it's miserable outside today, perfect place to be is either
60.
here in this arena at the Mymark Tower, or sitting at home with a cup of tea watching PDC TV. But the practice facilities here
100.
are excellent if you want to get focused, because all of the boards are quite well apart. If you want to go out and do your own thing, you're not going to get distracted by other people, supporters or other players.
97.
I think the guys
Scott, you
who have
require
got stuff on their mind this
121.
weekend are going to have plenty of opportunity to really focus properly.
105.
Everything's going with throw at the moment. Scott Taylor was laid up there perfectly. Early signs that maybe we'll be going
100.
all the
Scott,
way
you
to
require 16.
leg 11 here.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time on his side. Doesn't really want to come inside
12.
here because it could start to get tricky. That's what's happened.
What's interesting about that throw, Murph, is the fact that he was so out of rhythm with all 3 darts. When he's going for that 60, it's natural. He's out of rhythm when he comes down to things like double 8, double
Scott, you
16,
require
double 4.
Well, now he's going to spot above her. He's in the madhouse. Clayton's not far behind, but for the second time in the match, we see double 1 pinned with no trouble at all. Did you ever meet Johnny Clayton, or did you have your careers not crossed paths yet. He's
Yeah,
been-
I think we had a couple of battles. Yeah, I remember him absolutely drubbing me last season early on. Wasn't even close.
I know you've met Scott Taylor on a couple of occasions, and you've got the better of him on both occasions as well.
It's got to be someone, surely. Yeah, I always like playing against Scott because
100.
even though he was quick, it didn't feel like he was quick when you were in the game. It felt like a really nice pace.
96.
And he doesn't do anything at all. He doesn't mutter. He doesn't do any of those dark arts that we always talk about. Gets on with it. He's quiet as a mouse.
100.
He doesn't say much, Scott Taylor. He's a silently deadly player, though. He's got a very high level when he gets it right, when it clicks. Yet again, on throw. Seems to be working. He's going to go for it. Oh, he just missed it.
Okay, decision making, discuss. Right decision, wrong decision. Wrong because he missed.
Me personally, I would have laid up.
140.
And there have been times I've just gone for it because I needed a confidence boost. But J.Clayton is the kind of guy that when he has a shot left, he just goes for it.
But it meant that he's got 2 darts at double instead of all 3.
J.Clayton.
That doesn't matter if you pin it in a couple, which is what J.Clayton has done, and the trend of holding the throw continues.
You know what sport's all about, really? I've read a lot of books about this kind of thing, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts, especially from a guy called Tony Wrighton, who used to work for Sky Sports News, funnily enough. And
83.
he used to always talk about the little victories, and that's what sport's about. If you win the majority of little victories, you'll get the big victories. And that one, at the end of leg 5 for J.Clayton, let's think about this. He's on double A, he's got 1 dart left, he pings it. If he misses that and Scott Taylor takes the 67, this entire game changes. So he got that little victory to maintain advantage. And that's what he hasn't been doing lately, J.Clayton. Hasn't been taking those legs out. Today may be different.
137.
J.Clayton, of course, already a major finalist, having reached the decider of the Players' Championship finals a couple of years ago. And last year really stunned a few people at the Grand Slam when he won the group featuring Michael van Gerwen, beating MVG.
Was that a really big surprise, though?
Well, I suppose it's always a surprise when anybody beats Michael van Gerwen.
59.
Anybody can beat anybody with a best of 9. And I think J.Clayton winning that group was not a massive surprise to a lot of people within the game, but to a lot of fans it would have been. When he plays someone best of 31, which is what he did with MVG later on in the tournament, then maybe we just see what happens.
Well, he did get close, 16-12, and that was after thrashing Krzysztof Ratajski 10-3
60. Scott, you require
in the second
20.
round. 10s for Taylor. Finds it, and the dominant holds of throw just continue in this match. If it does continue till the end of it, then Clayton will get over the line 6-5.
Could be going the same way as the semi-final of last week between Peter Wright and MVG, where it was 13 holds of throw.
140.
Now, as a dart player myself, sometimes you don't mind losing like that. But if you've had plenty of opportunities to break your opponent, it's infuriating. Now, the one thing that we've seen in this game so far is that J.Clayton hasn't had that. And neither Scott Taylor.
100.
So this is a cat and mouse type of game.
Well, cat and ferret.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair.
Clayton is the winner of 4 PDC titles so far. And despite being a man in his 40s, it is still a fairly fledgling career with J.Clayton. Hasn't been professional for long.
Yeah, that in itself is an adjustment. And it's not about how you approach tournaments as a new professional, not having the day job anymore. It's about what you do in the times that you were working. What do you do with that time? And for me, it was all about doing the same amount of practice, really. There was nothing wrong with the amount of practice I was doing. It was about how you managed your brain and your body in those times. Get the right rest, keep active, and do healthy things that help your game.
89.
We are looking on course to see another dominant holder throw here, unless Taylor can produce something special, which is not going to happen. Might want to take the 5 off.
60.
That's what he tried to do, but
16.
didn't work out. That did.
On the 7th leg, J.Clayton.
That is looking a lot better today for me.
Game on.
1 week on from a defeat that would have stung him a bit. He just looks a lot sharper on his doubles.
120.
Average is okay. J.Clayton is way more comfortable when he's around that 100 mark that you were mentioning, Murph.
Well, he's off the back of 2 stinging defeats, isn't he? Because he had the lost to Mike De Decker in Austria last weekend, but the one that probably took him longer to recover from was a fantastic match at the Matchplay against Keegan Brown.
58.
Yeah, he did admit in August that it did sting a bit, and it's one of the best things about the Matchplay being at the end of the spring-summer period. It gives you a bit of time to recover.
96.
Obviously, these days they do Pro Tours in Germany straight after, and they usually do a Euro Tour the week after the Matchplay. But got to get back on the horse as soon as possible. And that 180 from S.Taylor again just tells us that the person throwing first is making the most of it.
136. Got you reply 143.
J.Clayton unable to leave a finish. May not matter. Double 16 for one throw. 143 out. Oh, one of the hardest finishes in the game. And he takes it on the back of a maximum. Wonderful stuff.
Taylor taking it to J.Clayton. Found himself
97.
behind for much of the match against Edgar as well, but turned it on towards the end. He's a stayer, S.Taylor.
97.
There's only one S.Taylor.
That's what they're saying.
I'm not sure they are, but maybe they should be. I don't know of any other S.Taylors.
I'm pretty sure there will be plenty in the phone poll. Interesting fact, but in my own contacts, I've got 2 Paul Nicholsons.
97.
I don't really know how to come back from that. I thought I was the only one in your life.
There are only 2 Paul Nicholsons.
Oh.
100.
This is a huge leg. We've talked on many occasions about how important it is in these tight games for people to break in leg 9. It gives them such an advantage, such a momentum swing. But yet again, J.Clayton has defended brilliantly.
180 will put the leg in Taylor's favour. Needs 2 trebles really to pressure.
That hurts. That treble 4 really hurt him. It's gifted J.Clayton a further 3 darts if he needs them. Double 16. Crisp, clean, and J.Clayton like 9 holes of throw.
Yeah, he really has looked to shield on the doubles in this match, hasn't he, J.Clayton? And that can be his downfall at times, but Taylor is not rolling over.
That is not. So you get the feeling that J.Clayton knows how important this game is.
Well, I'm sure he does, but to be fair, J.Clayton did wander past our commentary position before. It seemed very relaxed. He is a laid-back kind of guy.
45.
Yeah, there's not many other people I'd like to spend time with. I've been privileged enough to spend time in airports with Johnny, and whether you're in a bad mood or a good mood, after a conversation with Johnny, you're in a very good mood. He's one of those gentlemen.
It's quite an interesting one, the contrast between him and his World Cup teammate Gerwyn Price, because Price needs the aggression to play. Clayton needs the opposite. He needs the relaxed style. Doesn't want to get too fired up and agitated. And it actually, despite the fact that the players perhaps had
140
the most quality, or certainly were one of the teams with the most quality in the tournament, maybe it was difficult to play with each other because of the different attitudes.
140.
That one only just stayed in the board, and that 20 may be key. How much pressure will he be under? Looking for the maximum. Oh, what a lovely switch from Johnny Clayton. Pressure on the 76. If you don't take this, you might be out.
Well, now he needs treble double. He's not going to take it out. So Johnny Clayton at match point.
Hasn't had an opportunity to break all game. And this would snap that streak and win the match.
60.
Well, it was almost the same marker as the double 12 he had earlier on in the match, but this time couldn't find a way past it. And Taylor wants tops to take us to a last leg shootout.
No score.
How did that not go in? All it needed to be was straight and half decently thrown. He's just pulled it about a centimetre, and Johnny Clayton on 12s covers the bed. Hits the bed. Massive game for the 15th seed. He's got the job done. And that's the best I've seen him play on the European Tour for quite a few months. A 94 average will do it. But boy, there's a sigh of relief there. That was a plucky Johnny Clayton style performance. That's how he performed in Denmark against Pearl Larson. Don't stick Johnny Clayton in the corner. Very much like Robert Thornton. He's going to come out swinging. Johnny Clayton will play either Ian White or Gabriel Clemens next. Great game. Stay tuned for the next one, which could be just as good. Bradley Brooks or Wadey.
Und ist im finalen Sonntag mit dabei. Johnny, congratulations. Happy with that whole thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Last week couldn't hit doubles. Tonight, yeah, I did. So, yeah, hopefully it carries on.
It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, actually. Your job is done. What are you going to do right now, the rest of the day?
Well, I need some food. But, yeah, relax and prepare for tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah, still practicing on such a tournament day?
Yes, obviously. You know, we're going to board up, so, yeah.
Okay, see you tomorrow, Johnny. Thank you very much. Johnny Clayton.